You can just refresh the screen there.
Is it on now?
Okay, you're live.
Yes, good morning everybody. This is Grant Kaplan here from sunny South Florida in the United States. And maybe good afternoon or good evening wherever you are, or good afternoon as the case may be. My name is Grant Kaplan, or Grant Kaplan, again depending upon where you guys come from. We have the Immigration Law Office of Grant Kaplan here in Florida in the United States. We have clients throughout the United States and throughout the world, originally from South Africa, some of you may recognize. And the purpose of today's little chat with you guys is to tell you about our forthcoming trip to South Africa. A little bit about us. Our Immigration Law Office is based in Florida. We have clients throughout the United States, throughout the world. We have many clients from South Africa, of course, and from various other countries. Our firm consists of 4 attorneys, 16 paralegals, all of whom are burrowing away diligently, working on visas behind the scenes, even as we speak. As a matter of interest, there's some South Africans sitting in the meeting room next to me who can, of course, cannot hear us or see us. I saw some other guys who came in from Georgia earlier today. That's the state. Also from South Africa, but of course we have clients from everywhere in the world. So we have great pleasure in chatting to you today and dealing with you guys. Our telephone number and our email address, which I'll repeat a couple of times to you. Telephone +1 561 347 8440, and you can go to usvisasandgreencards.com, which is simple enough. usvisasandgreencards.com. We will be looking today, while I'm chatting to you, I'm also going to be looking at my screen to see, looking for guys who've got comments. It's a very much an interactive session with you guys. Any comments, give us a thumbs up. Do not give us a middle finger, please. If you have nothing to say, please keep it to yourself. Hopefully you've got nice things to say about us. Please give us a hello, give us a thumbs up, tell us where you come from. And I'll be looking at the screen from time to time to answer any questions that you guys have. So again, usvisasandgreencards.com, and telephone number +1 561 347 8440. Let's have a quick look at the screen. My hard-working cameraman Kevin is sitting behind, sending all kinds of signals behind me over here. Alright, so there we are. I see Jason and Hatel are saying hi, and many others. Hi to all of you guys, and I'll be looking from time to time as we go along. Alright, so we're going to be coming to South Africa to come and see potential clients, which could be you guys. What we're looking for specifically are business-related people who may be interested in coming to the United States. And I'll be going through various different visa categories with you, and you may be able to see whether you may be eligible or not to come to the United States. Of course, the United States is the _1 destination for everyone in the world to come to, and there are various misconceptions that people cannot get into the United States because they do not have $1 million, which people often tell us. Of course, there are many other ways to come into the United States, and we'll discuss some of these with you. So if you believe that you may be eligible for a visa after you've seen the video today, or you have general inquiries, please go again to usvisasandgreencards.com on Facebook, online, or you could even email me at my private email address, grant@gkaplanlaw.com. So grant@gkaplanlaw.com, and again the telephone number +1 561 347 8440. Please understand that we are not an employment agency. We do not find jobs for people. We do not find spouses for people, children for people, parents for people. We'll happily prepare and file the paperwork for you guys with pleasure. We're very much proactive. We want to be successful, but we're not going to file anything that we don't believe is going to be 100% successful. Let's have a look and see how we're getting on here. I'll see if some guys are saying hi from South Africa. Hi there to you guys. Alright, so let's talk about a couple of the different visa categories that we are going to be looking to assist with. Of course, bear in mind, in the current environment at the moment, in the United States. Things are very much on edge. Regulations are being considered to be changed. The immigration officials at the US CIS offices are taking more time and are being much more careful in their approach in approving visas. So it's imperative that we do our work properly and fully and rather overdo the work so that we can be sure that we're going to get your visas approved. Processing times are taking longer. For some visa categories, they do have what is called premium processing, which is expedited processing, which requires an additional fee, but for some others they are not. So please bear all of that in mind. And for those that are unsure as to whether you should file now or you should file in the future, which is a daily question which we are asked over here, the answer is file now. Whatever it is that you've got, make your plans now. The various immigration programs are very much up in the air, and you know, it's a very difficult situation, or potentially very difficult situation, particularly in the current environment. So let's go through a couple of the visa categories and let's see how we go from there. Again, we are not an employment agency. We do not deal typically with refugees. You know, certainly we're happy to try and help, you know, once people are here and they have a confirmed job offer, or they're in the United States and are afraid to go back to their country. This may certainly be something to look at, and I'll talk briefly about asylum in a short while. On the business side, the main visa category that we work with is what is known as an L1 visa, which is an intra-company transfer visa, which means that if you or your family has a business in your country, which is a viable business, which has been in operation for at least 2 years, and in which you or your family member has been employed for at least 1 year in the last 3 years, you may be eligible to come across to the United States to set up a branch or subsidiary here in the United States and get yourself transferred across as a representative of the South African or other foreign entity to come into the United States to set up and operate a business here in the United States. You do not need to be in the same business. You could come in and buy a business. So for example, if you owned a string of gyms in South Africa or elsewhere, you do not have to be in the gym business in the United States. You could come in and buy another business. You could come and buy a range of tanning salons, for example, or something else. As long as your South African entity continues to operate there, has at least a 51% share of the United States corporation, and is able to send you across to the United States to come in and set up the branch or subsidiary in the United States, that will do. Of course, the business that you operate in the United States must require your expertise as a manager or an executive to come in and operate that business. So sitting in a pizza takeout shop won't necessarily do the trick, of course, because that doesn't need a multinational executive to come in and set up and operate the business here. But of course, that may be an answer if you intend to expand the business, or you intend to go online, or you intend to do something with that business. So we'll assist you with all of that. And as I was mentioning earlier, we have a fully interactive team over here. We will help you with everything that you may need in the United States. We can assist you to set up a corporation with a federal tax ID number. We can assist you to set up a business plan, corporate bank account. We can even assist you to find business premises. So we can assist you with all of this. And in that way, we consider ourselves to be relatively unique, because we're not just going to leave you out there swinging in the wind, as they say. We're going to help you all the way through the process. Typically, you'd be given initially an approval for a year, and at the end of the year, once you've done what you said you're going to be doing, immigration will give you extensions of 2 years at a time. At any time after the first year, once your business is deemed to be viable in the United States and does not require any external funding, we can then apply for green cards for you. A great feature of the L1 visa is that your spouse, if you're married, will also be eligible to obtain work authorization and may work wherever they wish. And of course, kids can go to school and so on. People are asking, can we set out names of employment agencies? we can certainly, if you email us, we'll certainly be able to do that. And Gail in the office over here is equipped with all of that, and she can certainly give all of those to you. So by all means, please email us, grant@gkaplanlaw.com, or you can contact us through the Facebook page, US Visas and Green Cards, or simply go to usvisasandgreencards.com online, and you'll be able to contact us there. Again, our telephone number +1 561 347 8440. I have also an inquiry from Wilson to talk about asylum. I'll deal with those shortly. Gail is saying hi from the other side there. Hello, sweetie. All is good on this side. Okay, so let's proceed now. We've talked briefly about the L1 visa, a great visa option if you can make it work. And that is really what we do. We probably do 2 visas, I would say. L1 visas a week from South Africa. Great visa option. If you can make it work, that's certainly the way to go. Hello to Nick, who's most excited from his side. Everything is good. Yeah, Nick, thanks for the greetings. All right, so let's talk about the next visa category. The next visa category is what is known as an EB5 visa, which is an investor visa. And what that requires is an investment of $500,000. Kevin, you want to make it a bit warmer so we don't have the... Sure. Kevin's getting his hair blow dried in the back here, so he's, we're just going to turn up the... Now he's going to turn us into a sauna over here, so now we can start taking our shirts off and everything. All right, good. Okay, so let's talk about the EB5 visa. The EB5 is an investor visa, which allows for investments of a minimum of $500,000, typically passively in what is known as a regional center, to come and invest in the United States. The investment requires $500,000 to be put up as a passive investment in what is known as a regional center, typically for a period of 5 years. In the meantime, once the visa has been approved, which probably will take 12 to 18 months, that makes you and your family, being spouse and kids under 21, eligible to get a conditional green card, which is a green card which is good for 2 years. In the meantime, once that visa is approved, of course, you and your family can come across. The amount is not guaranteed. The regional centers are not allowed to guarantee that amount. However, of course, you need to do your due diligence. We work with, say, 6 or 8 of what we consider to be the top regional centers, and of course, we'll be happy to chat to you in much more detail about these. Another aspect of the EB5 program is that the investments are going up probably to over $1 million in the next 2 to 3 months. So if you're able to invest or can borrow or be gifted $500,000, certainly that is a viable option for you. You need to show that the money comes from a legitimate source, and of course the regional centers will put in their side of the deal. Great visa option. It does take 12 to 18 months to be approved, but you don't have to come in and operate a business or anything else. You, your spouse, and kids under 21 will all be given conditional permanent residence once the EB5 program has been approved. So all of that is good. A couple of greetings from Musa and from Pavan and various others. All good and happy to chat to you guys. So now, of course, don't forget to share this video on your page to help your family, friends, and everybody else. And we look forward to receiving your comments. If people cannot see this video live, of course, they can always access it afterwards, and we'll be able to help. So again, looking forward to comments, to you guys' greetings, and to love and to success and everything else that you may want to send our way. We'll be happy to acknowledge you and to answer any kind of questions. All right, so we've talked about the L1 visa, the intra-company transfer visa. We've talked briefly about the EB5 visa, which is an investor visa. Again, please bear in mind that program is probably going to increase in terms of the investment required to over $1 million in the near future. And if you're able to access those funds, certainly this is a great opportunity to do so. Many people, by the way, are concerned that once they obtain their permanent residence, that they will not be able to spend as much time in their country of origin as is required. In other words, people still have businesses, people have obligations, kids need to go to school, college, or whatever it might be, in this case in South Africa or wherever else it may be. The answer to that is that once you come in with your permanent residence, in other words, once your conditional green cards have been approved, you can come in. Typically, a permanent resident needs to spend at least 6 months out of every year in the United States. However, it is possible to get a re-entry permit, a parole document, which allows you to remain out of the United States for periods of up to 2 years to continue on with whatever it is that you need to do. And many of our clients still spend much of their time outside the United States as long as you maintain ties to the United States. In other words, you need to have a residence, you need to file your tax returns, you need to do all the other things which permanent residents need to do. So in order to allay your fears or your concerns about not being able to still spend time in your country, operating your business, this will certainly go a long way to allaying those fears. As far as taxes is concerned, I'm not a tax expert by any means, and as a caveat, I would suggest you speak to a tax expert. However, South Africa and the United States do have dual tax treaties, and non-immigrant visa holders are taxed in South Africa on the money that they earn in South Africa, and you're taxed separately on the money that you earn in the United States. Once you're a permanent resident, of course, that changes, but as I say, there is a dual tax treaty, so you're not going to be taxed twice by any means, so don't be concerned about that. There are various other visa categories, not specifically for South Africans. There is another visa called an E2 visa, which is an investor visa, not available to South Africans, but available to most European citizens and certain countries, random countries like the Congo, Egypt, in Africa, 1 or 2 other countries in Africa, some countries in the United States, Australia, and various other countries. If you come into the United States and you invest a minimum of $100,000, you can come in and operate their business and come in under what is known as the E2 visa. So that is a visa that's available there. One other visa which is now about not to be available is the H1 visa, which is for employees, professional employees. Today, April 1, is the opening and effectively the closing date for H1 visas, which is for professional employees who have offers of employment to come and work in the United States. So practically speaking, the H1 season probably will be open and closed if you were to start operating now. However, if you have an employer that is prepared to offer you some kind of employment, they can certainly petition for your green card by means of what is known as a labor certification and so on. That process would take 12 to 15 months, and anyone who has a confirmed offer of employment can certainly come in under that visa, under that green card eventually, which would take precedence probably 12 to 15 months. So anyone who is in that position, please to let us know. Thanks for sharing, Simon, Dale, Gabby, Gail, and various others. Happy to chat to see all of you guys. Send us a thumbs up. Tell us where you're from, everybody, so we can have a look and we can see what's going on over there. The one other visa which may be available if all else fails is a trainee visa. If you have an employee and an employer in the United States and they're prepared to offer you some kind of employment with a training plan, it may be possible to come in for a limited period to come in and train. So those basically are the alphabet soup of the business-related visas. Of course, if you're marrying or are engaged to a United States citizen, or you have a U.S. relative that is prepared to petition for you, a spouse, a child over 21, a parent, certainly they can file for you. If you have a U.S. sibling, they can certainly file for you as well, but that's a 13-year wait, so that's unfortunately not going to help anybody at this point. Let's talk briefly about asylum. We are asked on practically a daily basis, what is the situation with regard to asylum for South Africans? The fact is, at the moment, to my understanding, there are no decided cases relating to asylum from South Africa, and that doesn't mean to say that there aren't pending asylum applications. There are, and we are busy with 1 or 2 ourselves, but on its own does not lead automatically to the fact that because you're from South Africa, you would get asylum. asylum needs to be on one of the 5 recognized grounds in order to be able to come to the United States, and of course you need to be in the United States in order to apply for asylum status. Hi to Carol, who's saying hi over there, and hopefully any comments or anything else we can help you with. Of course we can help you to answer any of those. Asylum needs to be on one of the 5 grounds: nationality, religion, member of a social group, and so on. You need to be able to show that for some reason within the 5 grounds that you would be afraid to return to your country, and if you were to return to your country you would be persecuted, harassed, face some form of harm, and that the government is either unable or unwilling to assist you. Members of social groups could be different things, and at the moment possibly, for example, a social group in Mexico would be gangs in Mexico, would be a social group. So if you're from Mexico, for example, and you fled gang violence, that is debatable, but it appears that that is the case at the moment, that you'd be able to get asylum, because that is a recognized social group. Similarly, if you're a victim of domestic abuse, which is somewhat controversial at the moment in immigration law, it would appear that you would be eligible to obtain asylum in the United States if you were afraid to return and the police are unable and unwilling to assist you. So the fact, unfortunately, that everybody's subject to the unacceptable levels of violence in South Africa is not on its own a ground to get asylum. Of course, it may be a start if you're being targeted specifically, and there is a group that is after you for some reason or other. For example, I have an asylum claim at the moment for a South African lady from KwaZulu-Natal who's being targeted specifically by a taxi association. And she feels that she cannot return because they would harm her for various reasons, and of course she may have a claim, and that is still to be adjudicated. So you need to be able to show, as I say, that you're within one of the 5 groups, and if that is the case, certainly we're happy to have a look at it. There's no generally accepted principle that because you're from South Africa and they're going to expropriate the land of everybody, that automatically qualifies you for asylum. That is not the case, and certainly we'll be able to assist and discuss that any further. In answer to a couple of questions, how much money does one need for an L1 petition? The answer is there's no minimum capital investment required. You do need to show that you have sufficient money to set up and operate your business, and to draw a salary. And of course the position is very much different than if you're selling shoelaces rather than if you're selling aeroplanes. Of course the capital requirements are somewhat different. So the answer is you need to have sufficient money to come in and operate your business, as I've indicated, and to draw a salary and to maintain a viable business, both here and in South Africa. For the EB5, as I mentioned earlier, you need to have a capital of $500,000. That does not need to be your own money, could be gifted to you, could be loaned to you under certain circumstances, and we find often, in many cases, that parents do this for their kids. They're able to get a loan or mortgage the house or do whatever it is to put up the $500,000 for their kids who either are studying in the United States or they want to come to the United States to come and live, and that's what they do for them. And that has always been the case, incidentally, for the Chinese investors who have overtaken this visa category, the EB5 category. They would access or try their best to access the $500,000 to give or to loan to their kids so that the kids could have green cards. And that would seem to me to be a prudent way to do it. And in our travels to India and various other places, that seems to be a common phenomenon, that the parents provide for the kids to give them a life. And of course that doesn't mean that that's the end of your investment. 5 years later you should be able to recoup that money, maybe even with some kind of return. And in the meantime you've given the gift of a green card for the kids, who in turn could file for the parents once they're in the United States. So it all works on a win-win type situation. So that's the story. And Gail is writing in to say that she's got various websites, and you can certainly give them to you. But if you write to us, we can also give them to you. She's given us for those guys who are looking for employment: myvisajobs.com, careerbuilder.com, indeed.com, monster.com. All of these places. I think there's even one called jobs.com. There's various websites, but of course the internet is your friend in these circumstances, and we've had a number of clients who are able to get employment through employers. It is possible, and if you focus your search and you look diligently, you should be able to find something. So again, let me give my contact details to you. The office telephone number +1 561 347 8440, US visas and greencards.com, and you can also email me at grant@gkaplanlaw.com. Kevin, I think we're all set, and I think that we've done this. You've managed to keep the camera upright, not upside down, so we're all good on that one. I want to say thank you to everybody. I look forward to seeing you guys in South Africa. Please contact us as soon as possible. We're going to be doing appointments on a one-on-one basis. Share this with everybody else, and we look forward to seeing you guys there. Good. Speak to you soon. Bye.